Imagine a city so incredibly wealthy.
Yeah.
I mean, the name itself just makes you think of gold, right? Splendor.
Absolutely. Babylon.
Yeah, Babylon. But here's the thing. It was built on this arid plain, a desert, basically.
Mm-hmm. No real natural resources to speak of.
None. No forests, no mines, not even enough rain for crops reliably.
It's kind of amazing when you think about it.
So how did the people there become the richest folks of their time? How did they pull that off?
Well, that's what we're diving into today.
Okay, let's unpack this. We're getting into George S. Clason's classic, The Richest Man in Babylon.
Such a foundational book. First published way back, 1926.
Right. But it feels so relevant, doesn't it? It uses these captivating stories, parables.
Set in ancient Babylon, yeah. Nearly 6,000 years ago.
And through these stories, it shows that the basic rules about money, about wealth, they're universal. They just don't change.
Exactly. They transcend time, culture. And what's really fascinating is how this started as just a series of pamphlets, you know?
Simple pamphlets.
Yeah.
And became this timeless guide.
And understanding Babylon itself is key, like you said. Our mission here for this deep dive is really to pull out the most important nuggets from the book.
The core lessons.
Yeah, the core lessons. And we want to make them easy to get, maybe even a bit entertaining.
Definitely. And most importantly, show how you, listening right now, can actually use these ancient ideas.
In your daily life. To build wealth, yes, but also just a richer existence.
Exactly. Because this isn't just some dry history lesson.
No, not at all.
Think of it more like, well, a shortcut. A shortcut to understanding personal finance fundamentals.
It really breaks it down. Simple, practical laws.
For getting money, keeping it, and maybe the most exciting part, making your money make more money for you.
It's a blueprint, how to build that fat purse, as Clason puts it.
Larger bank balances, real financial progress, and it all started in this really unlikely place.
It is a paradox, isn't it? Babylon, the wealthiest city of its time.
Right between the Tigris and Euphrates.
But on this arid plain, like you said, no natural gifts, no forests, no mines, not enough rain.
So how? If it wasn't natural abundance, what was the secret sauce?
It wasn't inherited, it was made. Forged, really.
By people.
By human ingenuity. By
Wow.
sheer effort, persistence. They understood certain principles, economic and financial, and applied them on a huge scale.
It's pretty humbling, actually, what people can achieve.
They were pioneers, those Babylonian engineers. Incredible.
The irrigation canals, right, from the Euphrates.
Massive projects, turning that dry valley into fertile farmland, feeding a huge population.
And that was like one of the first big engineering feats ever.
One of the earliest, yeah. And complex, too. They also built drainage systems, reclaimed swampland.
So more land, better health.
Exactly. This place was a hub. The first engineers, astronomers mapping the stars.
Mathematicians.
And crucially for us today, the first financiers.
Wow.
They literally invented money as we know it, like means of exchange, promissory notes, written property titles.
They were writing the rule book from scratch.
Pretty much building the foundations of finance.
And all this ingenuity.
Yeah.
It wasn't just about making stuff, it was about protecting it, too.
Right?
The walls.
Oh, the walls of Babylon, legendary, supposedly 160 feet high.
Seriously, that's enormous.
And 9, maybe 11 miles long, considered one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world.
And armies couldn't breach them for centuries.
That's the story. They were formidable.
So connecting that to the bigger picture, these walls, they're like a symbol.
I think so, a symbol of a really basic human need. Protection, security.
Babylon lasted because it was, as the book says, fully protected.
Which makes you ask, okay, how do we build walls like that today? Not physical ones, obviously.
Right. Metaphorical walls. Walls to protect our own lives, our finances.
What are the modern equivalents?
Exactly. And the book suggests, through our God's lessons, that those walls today are things like insurance.
Savings accounts, solid ones.
And dependable investments, diversified ones.
These are the things that guard us against unexpected stuff, economic shocks, personal troubles.
Things that could just walk in the door.
Right. Mm-hmm. They ensure our future income, protect our families. That's building your wall.
And that's where our cod comes in, the richest man in Babylon.
His wisdom provides that blueprint. But before we get to his cures, let's just paint the picture. What was it like for the average Joe in Babylon?
Yeah, because it wasn't all rich people, right? We meet Banser, the chariot maker.
And Cobby the musician.
These guys are good at what they do. They work hard. Skilled craftsmen.
Definitely not lazy.
But their purses, empty. Even though they live in the richest city in the world.
It's a theme, isn't it, that struggle? Seeing all this wealth around you, but
It's not sticking to you. They have this senseless dream of wealth, but just turns into frustration.
yeah, they look around at the gold, the markets, the temples, and they ask,
Why not us?
why can't we get enough silver and gold, enough for food, clothes, to actually enjoy this city?
It's a question so many people still ask today, isn't it?
Absolutely. You work hard, you earn okay, but you feel like you're on a treadmill, working for others maybe, but not building your own wealth.
And that's their big realization, right? They figure out they put all their energy into their trades,
Into building chariots, playing music,
but zero effort into learning how to actually get wealth.
masters of their craft, but total beginners in finance.
So naturally, they decide to seek out the guy who has figured it out.
Arcad, the richest man in all Babylon.
And he's known not just for being rich, but for having this income that constantly keeps his purse full,
No matter how much he spends.
which highlights a key point right there. Wealth isn't just a pile of cash.
No, it's about income. That golden stream that keeps flowing, replenishing things.
So this leads us to Arcad teaching others. King Sargon noticed the problem too, right?
Yeah, the king saw that gold just seemed to slip through most people's fingers. Ended up with just a few folks.
And he wanted everyone to learn how to get wealthy, not just a few elites.
Exactly. To lift the whole city. Strengthen the kingdom.
So Arcad takes on the job, even though he's old and rich already.
He agrees to teach his 7 cures for a lean purse to 100 men, like an early financial literacy class.
Amazing. And the inspiring part is, Arcad didn't start rich.
No advantages, no inheritance, no connections. Started as a scribe.
Just had a great desire for wealth.
That was it, which makes his lessons feel achievable, you know. Anyone can do this if they apply the principles.
So cure number 1. It sounds so simple. Start thy purse to fattening.
Deceptively simple, but it's the foundation, the core instruction. For every 10 coins, take out for use but 9.
Pay yourself first. Save at least a tenth of everything you earn.
And it's not just the math, it's the mindset shift. You prioritize your future. You build discipline.
You change your relationship with money.
Right, Arcad even says he managed fine on 9/10, and then coins seem to come easier.
Which isn't magic, right? It's confidence. Better decisions.
I think so. It opens your eyes, it empowers you, which leads to that question for everyone listening. Are you mostly just satisfying today's wants?
Or are you consistently building for the future? Building those income-producing assets?
It really makes you think.
It forces you to look at your priorities. And speaking of priorities, once you start saving that tenth, the next big hurdle is controlling the rest.
Cure number 2, control thy expenditures. This one might be the toughest.
Because, as Arcad says, our necessary expenses,
Yeah.
they just grow, don't they?
They always grow to equal our income unless we fight back. Protest to the contrary, as he puts it.
We have to distinguish between real needs and just desires.
Which often masquerade as need.
Oh, yeah. And our desires. They're endless, right? A multitude, Arcad calls them.
But the ones we can actually satisfy are few. So the budget, it's not about punishment.
No, people think budget means deprivation.
But Arcad sees it as a tool to defend your treasure, to plug the leaks,
And paradoxically, to help you afford your real cherished desires.
by separating them from the casual whims that don't bring lasting joy.
So how do you do it? He says, to engrave upon the clay. Write it all down.
Exactly. Write down everything you want to spend money on. Make it tangible.
See it laid out.
Then you choose what's really essential, what truly matters to you. Keep those within the 9/10.
And the rest.
Cross them out. Not sadly, but decisively, with a feeling of control. This shows you the leaks.
So it's intentional spending. Saying yes to what matters, security, a home, whatever. And no to the stuff that just drains your wallet.
Purposeful spending for a truly gratifying life. That's the goal.
Okay, so you're saving, you're budgeting. Cure 3 builds on that.
Make thy gold multiply. You've saved it, now put it to work.
Because gold sitting in a purse does nothing.
Zip. Your wealth isn't just the coins, it's the income stream it generates. The golden stream.
Arcad uses his loan to Agar, the shield maker, as an example, right?
Yeah, he loaned Agar money, but the key was when Agar paid him interest, Arcad didn't spend it.
He reloaned it, reinvested it,
Added it back to the principal, compounding, making his capital and its earnings grow together.
in the farmer story. 10 silver pieces growing.
To 167 pieces in 50 years, just through compounding interest with a moneylender.
It shows the incredible power of passive income. Compound interest.
Arcade calls each saved coin a slave to work for you.
And its earnings are like children that also earn.
It's a great image. These golden slaves highlight making your money work for you. It's the difference between just having money and having a growing fortune.
Working while you sleep. Okay, golden slaves, multiplying gold. Sounds exciting. But Arcade immediately follows with a warning.
A crucial one. Cure number 4. Guard thy treasures from loss.
The first rule of investing: protect your principal.
Non-negotiable. Don't get tempted by huge potential earnings if you might lose your original stake.
Because misfortune loves a shining mark. People chasing crazy returns get hit first.
Often, yes. And Arcade is refreshingly honest about his own mistake here.
The Asmer the brickmaker story.
His tragedy, he calls it. He gave his savings to Asmer to buy jewels overseas. Sounded exotic, profitable.
But Asmer got scammed. Bought worthless glass.
And Arcade lost everything. The lesson: don't trust people just because they're friends or sound confident.
Seek advice from people who actually know what they're doing. Proven experience.
In that specific field, due diligence is key. Don't invest in stuff you don't understand.
Find qualified advisors. Experts.
And remember, Arcade stresses, a small, safe return is way better than risking it all for huge, uncertain gains. Steady growth beats gambling.
So for us today, that means do your homework. Ask tough questions. Vet people.
Understand the fees, the risks, diversification. Make sure it fits your risk tolerance. Protect that principle. Build on a solid foundation.
Makes sense. Okay, Cure 5 is about something most people deal with. Housing. Make of thy dwelling a profitable investment.
Right. Owning your home isn't just shelter, it's an investment. It cuts living costs over time.
And gives you stability, confidence, pride.
Arcade saw too many people paying rent indefinitely. No asset building, nothing to show for it.
So instead of just paying rent forever,
redirect that money towards ownership. He even says borrowing for a home is wise.
Because each payment reduces the debt, builds equity.
Until you own it outright. Then just taxes remain. He talks about the satisfaction, eating figs from your own trees.
It frees up earnings for other things later on.
It really prompts the question, how much do you value that sense of permanence, that pride? How does it affect your overall well-being?
It's a big shift, psychologically and financially, from just expense to asset. Okay, thinking long-term leads us to Cure 6.
Ensure a future income. Planning for the future.
For when you can't earn anymore? Old age, illness.
Exactly. And providing for your family if you're not there, it requires foresight, discipline.
He gives examples like buying houses or land wisely.
Or like Onsen, the sandal maker, making small, regular deposits, just 2 silver pieces a week.
And over 8 years, it grew to over 1,000.
And Arcade projected it would reach 4,000 in another 12 years. A solid retirement fund built from tiny, consistent steps.
The power of consistency.
He even talks about something like life insurance, paying small amounts regularly so the family gets a lump sum if someone dies.
Wow, even back then, it shows that basic human need for security.
Providing for the long term, protecting your loved ones, it's about building that legacy of care.
It's more than just saving, it's building that financial fortress. For later years, for family, huge peace of mind.
And finally, Cure 7, maybe the most empowering one. Increase thy ability to earn.
This isn't just managing money, it's increasing the flow of money.
Exactly. It's about investing in yourself.
Cultivate your powers, study, get wiser, more skillful.
Desire precedes accomplishment, he says. And it has to be strong, definite. Your greatest asset isn't gold, it's you.
And he uses his own story, right, as a scribe.
Yeah, engraving clay tablets. He decided, I'm going to be the best.
He studied, practiced, worked hard.
And as his skill grew, rewards followed. More respect, more pay. Often without even asking.
Because the more wisdom, the more skill, the more you can earn.
It's about lifelong learning, perfecting your craft, seeking better ways, being at the forefront.
And it connects to self-respect too. Paying debts, caring for family.
All of it enhances your character, your ability to thrive, continually invest in yourself. That's the ultimate engine of wealth creation.
These 7 cures together. It's a powerful package. Beyond just finance, really.
Absolutely. But Arcade also talks about mindset. Like, how do you attract good luck?
People back then believed in a goddess of good luck.
Yeah.
Right. Random fortune.
But Arcade argued, no, luck usually comes when you act on opportunity.
He wasn't a fan of gambling, was he? Races, gaming tables.
Dismissive. He points out the odds are always stacked against you. You lose more than you win. That's not the path.
What he does focus on is procrastination. Missing out.
Yeah, those near misses. He tells stories. The merchant who wanted fine robes now and missed a great land deal.
The camel buyer who hesitated on cheap sheep and lost a triple profit.
Ouch.
Who resonates today, right?
Ah.
How many chances do we let slip because we hesitate, overthink?
Arkad mentions a Syrian calling out the procrastinator, the one who lets opportunity fly away.
So good luck isn't random. You entice it by grabbing opportunity.
Prompt, decisive action is key. Procrastination is the enemy. You have to conquer it.
And that ties into willpower, doesn't it? His definition is interesting.
It's not brute strength. It's the unflinching purpose to carry a task you set for yourself to fulfillment. Consistency.
Like his pebble story, walking across the bridge every day.
And picking up one pebble, casting it in the stream, every single day.
Even if he forgot and had to walk back.
Even then. Never, I'll do 2 tomorrow. Never. This is pointless.
It built the habit of follow-through. Self-confidence, proving to himself he could stick to something.
Exactly. Which prepared him for bigger things. So the question for you listening is, what small, consistent action could you commit to daily to build that financial willpower?
Small habits, big results. Okay, so beyond the cures, Arkad gives us the 5 laws of gold, a master framework.
Introduced through the story of his son, Nomasir, which is kind of a cautionary tale itself.
Yeah, Arkad doesn't just dump money on him. He gives him 1 bag of gold.
And a clay tablet with the 5 laws. And says, come back in 10 years and prove you've learned something.
A tough test. And Nomasir. He blows it at first, right?
Oh, yeah. Textbook mistakes. Gets caught in a horse race scam. Loses the first chunk.
Then doubles down on foolishness. Bad partnership.
With some guy promising impossible returns. Total disaster. Lost it all.
The bitter path many take. Trusting luck over wisdom.
It was only when he hit rock bottom, in despair, that he remembered the tablet. The wisdom was there all along, he just hadn't valued it. His failures were a harsh teacher.
But they led him back. And these 5 laws become his guide to redemption.
A master framework, like you said, distilled wisdom.
Law 1. Gold cometh gladly to him who saves.
Back to paying yourself first. Save at least 1/10. Gold comes more easily when you build that base. It creates a virtuous cycle.
Law 2. Gold laboreth diligently for profitable employment.
Echoing, make thy gold multiply. Put your savings to work. Invest it wisely. Make it multiply. Gold wants to work.
Law 3. Gold clingeth to the protection of cautious owners.
Reinforces guard thy treasures. Invest only with the advice of wise, experienced people. Protect your principal. Gold flees the careless.
Law 4. Gold slippeth away from unfamiliar investments.
A specific warning. Don't put money into things you don't understand or that experts haven't approved. Inexperience leads to loss. Avoid fads. This hits Nomasir's mistakes right on the head.
And Law 5. Gold flees from impossible earnings.
The get-rich-quick warning. Avoid tricksters, schemes promising magic returns, trusting romantic hopes over solid experience. Wise people know the risks. This covers Nomasir's gambling and his bad partnership. All the laws hit home for him.
But he turns it around, using the laws.
He applies Law 1, saving even as a slave, just a copper. He applies Law 3, investing carefully with his master after seeking advice.
And he comes back in 10 years.
Not just with the original gold replaced, but with 2 extra bags, proving he learned the lesson.
That wisdom is worth more than gold itself.
It's a powerful story of recovery. Shows that where there is determination, the way can be found, no matter how bad things seem.
Incredible. Okay, determination is key, but what about when you're already in a hole? Like with debt. The book tackles that too.
Yeah, with Dabasir's story. But first, we meet Rodan, the spear maker.
He's got 50 gold pieces, doing okay, but...
People want to borrow it, especially his sister, for her husband Araman's business idea.
Ah, the family loan dilemma. So relatable. You want to help, but...
You need to protect your own savings. It's tricky. So Rodan seeks advice.
From Melthion, the gold lender, the expert.
And Melthios starts with a parable, the ox and the ass, the lesson. If thou desire to help thy friend, do so in a way that will not bring thy friend's burdens upon thyself.
Don't take on their risk yourself. Don't enable bad habits.
Right. Then Malthon shares insights from his token chest, each token alone, a lesson.
He categorizes them, right? See if his loans have collateral property, jewels.
Something tangible. Then loans based on earning capacity and character riskier needs more judgment.
And the riskiest. No collateral, no reliable income, recipe for disaster.
Malthon uses anecdotes. The wife with lavish tastes. Emotions aren't safe risks. The farmer borrowing for seed, Purpose brings money back.
The inexperienced son, high hopes, low wisdom. The wise camel trader, aid good judgment, establish success.
The bug from Egypt. Overzealous youth, deep pit of debt.
Oof. So Methon's advice to Rodan about his brother-in-law.
Prioritize safety. Is the money truly safe with him? Probably not.
Make sure gold earns more. Don't chase crazy returns. Associate with success.
And crucially, before thou let any piece of gold leave thy pouch, be sure that thou hast a safe way to pull it back again. Prudent risk assessment.
Which brings us to Dabasir. He lived the nightmare Rodan was trying to avoid.
On a huge scale.
Yeah.
Once a successful saddle maker, then enslaved in Syria. Why?
Overspending, unmanageable debt, sowing the winds of needless self-indulgence, he calls it. Took responsibility.
And his turning point wasn't pity, it was a harsh truth from Syrah, his master's wife.
How can you call yourself a free man when your weakness brought you here?
Yeah.
Ouch.
And no man can respect himself who does not repay honest debts. That hit him hard.
Combined with being near death in the desert, his colored stone moment.
A realization. True values. Freedom comes from responsibility, integrity.
He decided, go back, repay everyone, make a home, be a proud citizen.
He saw his creditors not as enemies, but as friends who had trusted him. That determination again.
So he gets back, talks to Math-and-Thon, and creates his plan on clay tablets.
Super organized. 3 clear purposes. Purpose 1, future prosperity.
1/10 saved. Pay yourself first, even with massive debt. Math-Thon agreed you need something in your purse for your own spirit.
Purpose 2, household expenses. 7/10. Strict budget. Live within it. No more borrowing. Herein lieth the success, Dabasir wrote.
The crucial discipline.
And purpose 3, debt repayment. The remaining 2/10. Divided fairly among creditors every month. Transparently.
Did it work?
Like clockwork. For a whole year, he stuck to it. Debt went down, savings grew, his spirit lifted.
Even the angry creditors came around, saw his commitment.
They did. They respected his plan and his dedication. A total transformation.
And here's the amazing part, bringing it to today. Professor Shrewsbury.
Finds Dabasir's tablets centuries later. He and his wife are drowning in modern debt, humiliated, stuck in that vicious circle.
Student loans, credit cards maybe?
Sounds familiar, right? They decide to try Dabasir's ancient plan.
List debts, talk to creditors, explain the 20% repayment plan, go cash only.
They live cheerfully on 70%, find ways to cut back without misery, and they save the 10%.
And the professor says they got more pleasure from saving that 10% than they ever did from spending it.
Incredible shift. The result, debts paid off, investments grew, financially, mentally better off than ever.
It just proves these principles are timeless. Dabasir's plan is a blueprint for anyone wanting freedom from debt today.
Absolutely universal.
Okay, one last big theme. The book hits hard. The value of work itself.
Beyond just earning money, the intrinsic value, told through Sharunada.
A rich merchant, but he started as a slave.
Yeah. Due to his own youthful mistakes, he talks about building Babylon's walls. Hard labor.
And the different attitudes of the slaves around him.
Right. There was Megiddo, the farmer, who saw work as a friend. Work, well done, does good to the man who does it, makes him a better man.
Wow. Finding dignity even in slavery.
Then Zebedo, the shirker, always looking for shortcuts. And Pirate, just full of bitterness.
And Sharunada chose Megiddo's path.
He did. He decided to be valuable, mastered baking as a slave, even started a side hustle selling cakes for a cut.
Enterprise even in chains.
His hard work, his attitude, it got noticed by Arad Gula, a wise man, who eventually bought his freedom and made him a partner.
Amazing story. Driven by work ethic.
And the story ends with Hadan Gula, Sharunada's grandnephew, who starts out thinking work is for slaves, preferring luxury.
But hearing Sharunada's story changes him.
Profoundly. He realizes work was his grandfather's secret key to wealth. He dramatically sheds his jewels, embraces humility and hard work.
So the lesson is, work isn't just about the paycheck.
It's about self-respect, character, opportunity, finding satisfaction and accomplishment. It underpins everything else.
Which makes you wonder, in our world of seeking shortcuts, do we sometimes forget the value of just good, honest effort?
It's a really important question. How does that attitude impact not just our money, but our whole sense of purpose?
So we've covered a lot today. Arkad's 7 cures, the 5 laws, Dabasir's debt plan, the power of work, all from ancient Babylon.
But the lessons feel incredibly current.
A part of all you earn is yours to keep.
The absolute foundation.
Guard thy treasures from loss. Seek wisdom, be prudent.
Make thy gold multiply. Put it to work. invest wisely.
Where the determination is, the way can be found. Never give up.
And maybe the driver of it all. Action will lead thee forward. Don't just learn, do.
These aren't just dusty old sayings. They worked for Arcad, for Dabassir, for Professor Shrewsbury.
Yeah.
Ordinary people transforming their lives.
The wisdom lasts because it taps into fundamental human needs and fears. Security, prosperity. And it gives simple, powerful ways to master them.
So, as we wrap up, here's something to chew on.
Babylon eventually fell. Not because invaders broke down those massive walls.
But because the energy inside faded. The human forces.
The wisdom, the diligence, the determination, the things that built the wealth, they diminished within the people.
So the final thought for you is, what energizing forces are you willing to cultivate in your own life?
Not just for money, but for purpose, resilience, lasting satisfaction.
Start today. Pay yourself first. Seek knowledge.
And act decisively. The wisdom of Babylon is right there, waiting for you to use it.